Right guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's obvious from my statistics that you guys like the Army Reserve videos that I've been making, particularly with regards to selection. I even had one YouTuber email me to say thank you for making the videos, because yes, there is a lack of videos on the internet with regards to selection and the British Army. So how did I get on at my selection? In this video I'm going to tell you the story of exactly what happened, okay? So hopefully you can learn from my story and move on yourself. Basically, I had some good news and I also had some bad news. Now you'll find out the good news and the bad news later on in this video. So what happened then? Well, on the 17th of May 2018, I got up out of my bed. I got showered, I got dressed, and I basically got ready to get to the train station in order to catch my train to Lichfield. Now Lichfield is, where I was going to be doing my selection. Now as soon as you arrive at Lichfield, I had to catch two connecting trains. So I had to get one from Stockport to Birmingham New Street, and then from Birmingham New Street to Lichfield City. Now, as soon as you arrive at Lichfield City train station, then you'll basically walk down the corridor, and then you'll see a lot of people standing around the front of Lichfield City train station. Yes, you've got it. These are other recruits who've applied to join the British Army. So with my bag, I made my way down to this congregation of people, and I basically just stood there and ended up talking to some guy, asking him what regiment he's going in. It turns out he had realistic. I believe his name was actually Sam. So Sam, if you're watching this video, hello buddy. And then I started talking to some of the girls. They're going into like the medic corps, stuff like that. So basically you get about 5 minutes, 10 minutes to say hello to everybody. Now from then you will see, we seen basically a military figure, okay, so some guy in a military uniform across the road, and he basically waved us over. So we all went over to this military figure. Now what happened then was basically the coach was here, and he basically got us to all line up at the side of the coach, okay, so we all lined up at the side of the coach, and then we had to get the passports out, and one by one he came along, looked at the passport, looked at yourself, ticked you off and told you to go put your bag into the coach. Now as soon as everybody's done that and you're on the coach, we then make our way to the actual army barracks itself. Now on the way down on the coach, it's very relaxed, people are still getting to know each other. I got to meet a stunning set of lads, honest to God. These lads were the cream of the top. They were the top bananas. Well, good, decent lads. And so basically you get to know each other a little bit more on the way down to the barracks. But once you get to the barracks, that's it. It's a different story, okay? As soon as you arrive in the barracks, you are now under the control of the British Army. Again, guys, if you don't like being told what to do, don't apply to join the British Army. So basically from that word go, you are basically under the authority of the British Army. They tell you what to do, when to do, blah blah blah. So when we get off the coach, we're basically told to just collect the bags from the coach hold-all and dump it on the ground. Leave it on the ground and go into reception. So then we go into reception, which is where there's a number of bibs that's laid out on chairs in reception. You have a red bib and you have an orange bib. So what we were told to do is we were told to put on the orange bib first, followed by the red bib. Now the number on this bib, in my case, which is 37, you're going to be wearing this bib throughout your entire stay at selection. And once you've done that, they basically send you into this like conference room. Now when you're in the conference room, I'm sorry, just before you go into the conference room, we were also given a bottle of water, and we were also given little tubes, in order to urinate in, so we can have a urine sample done. Now, some people went ahead and went to the toilet and filled these urine samples up. Now, the thing is, we were not told to fill the urine samples up. So, therefore, these guys that filled them up got right bollocking from the sergeant. Not only that, but we were also told to put our names just on a piece of paper. And I put my name on it, and then I also started filling out the date and the time, and that alone seen me get the bollocking from the sergeant. So he was like, "What did I ask you to do?" And I said, "Oh, you asked me to fill out the name." And he goes, "No, I did not say that." So, he got very, authoritarian with me. And I realised he was in the correct, I'm in the wrong. Even if he was in the wrong, I'm not going to question it, because again, it's the British Army. So, you can expect these kind of snipes from the authoritative figures within the British Army, because again, it's their job to turn you from a civilian into a professional soldier. So anyway, after that, we then go into the conference hall, where everybody's told, you don't choose where you sit, you're told where you sit. So you end up being told sit, and I ended up having a guy called Lewis on my left, and I ended up having a girl called Amy on my right. Now, Amy was a very, talkative girl, and very, interactive, and it's obvious that Amy likes having fun in life. That's obvious. But I started getting things. What you got to remember, guys, is that as soon as you get off the coach, you're being monitored. Your behaviour within the British Army is being monitored. So I quickly realised that if I became friendly with Amy, then perhaps that could go against me. So if Amy's flirting with me, and if I'm flirting with Amy, then that's not a good thing, because if I'm being monitored, then they're going to be saying, "Hang on, number 37 over there, he's very flirtatious with the girls. We don't think he's going to be suitable within the British Army." So with that insight, I quickly being like, yeah, Amy, come on, Amy, pack it in, wisen up, Amy, kind of thing. Let's just get through all this, and there's a time and a place for it, and this clearly isn't the time. So that's personally how I felt with the whole thing. But from then, in the conference room, we then went on to do a thing called an icebreaker. Now, the icebreaker basically sees you introducing yourself to the rest of the group. Now, me being a YouTuber, I didn't particularly feel uncomfortable. I actually felt pretty comfortable. I wish I actually had more time than I actually had, because I could go on forever just talking to these guys about myself, my YouTube career, my past work history, and all that kind of stuff, my interests, stuff like that. So, but for some other people, it was a little bit more harder, which naturally I understand that some people are more shy and more reserved and stuff like that. However, there was one guy who basically, I would say, how can I describe him? I would say he's not as social as what most people are, and because he's not as social as what most people are, then when he was given his icebreaker, he came across as being a little bit of a geek, a little bit of a nerd, and he said he liked to play the piano, stuff like that, and that's seen, quite a few people actually laughing at him, and I, for one, felt a little bit, yeah, we shouldn't be laughing like that, because it's not fair, it's not fair on the guys. We're all from different parts of life. But anyway, the sergeant quickly turned into a joke, and then from there we moved on, and then we started, watching what's called, like a screen, a projector on the wall that's telling us more about the British Army and what we're going to expect at selection and stuff like that. So once we had all that out, and we filled out some basic paperwork, then it was basically, we were led over to our accommodation. Again, you don't get to choose where you sleep. You're told where you're going to sleep. Now, I was put in a dormitory with about 8 beds in it, and I think there's only about me and 6 other lads in there, and we were okay, because we were in one of the smaller dormitories. The other ones, the other blocks, they actually had bunk beds. We didn't have bunk beds, we had single beds, but the other block had bunk beds, and basically it was a bigger, larger group, so they all actually sleep in there. Now, one of the things what we had talked about previous in the conference room was big boy rules, and the big boy rules is, look, 10 o'clock the lights get switched off, okay? We're trusting you to switch them lights off. If we come past, or somebody comes past and they see the lights are still switched on at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, we're not going to be happy. So we're trusting you on the big boys rules to switch off the lights. Now I can tell you, my first night was awesome. As soon as 10 o'clock came, all of our lads switched off the light and we all went to sleep. Come 10 o'clock, I never heard anything from any of the other lads within my block. Everybody was, even though it took us hours and hours to get to sleep, in my case it was 10 o'clock, I never got to sleep till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Nonetheless, nobody said a word. It was awesome. So that's what we're talking about, big boys rules. So if you hear the term big boys rules, that's basically what they mean. Now, remember, you always have to have your bottle with you. So your bottle needs to be at the side of your bed too. Okay, anywhere you go, if the sergeant comes in and says 37, come on, you're coming with me, you take your bottle with you. If you don't take your bottle with you, you're going to get bollocked. So make sure you always take your water bottle with you, as that is classed as your weapon to the British Army during selection. Now, so what happens the next day? So in the morning we woke up at 5:30. At 5:30, we quickly have to go get a shower. Now, the communal showers, you don't have any privacy, so you're going to be showering in front of other people. So don't be shy, don't be nervous, don't be cowering away in the corner. Just get straight in there, get showered, get freshened up, come back, tidy your bed, and then stand by your bed, because at 6 o'clock, that is when the staff is going to come in, and the staff will expect you to be stood by your bed. Now, on our occasion, on the first night, we failed to do that, and we were quite lucky that we had a very nice woman who basically said, look, if that was the sergeant who caught you sitting on your bed at 6 o'clock, he would not be happy. However, because it's me, I'm going to move on. So there you go, guys. Once staff tells you what time they're meeting you in the morning in the accommodation block, make sure you're stood up by your bed. That's everybody in the block. So from there, you then go and you have your breakfast. Now, I forgot to say previously, the night before, we had supper. I forgot to mention that, but we had supper. But anyway, I jumped the gun and said we went to bed. But we went to bed after supper. Now in the morning, we're showered and shaved. We actually went to have breakfast. And yeah, the breakfast is okay. If you're expecting like 2 sausages, 2 rashers of bacon, 2 eggs, stuff that, forget it. You get one rasher of bacon, you get 1 sausage, and you get 1 egg, etc., etc. So remember, you're not in the British Army yet. You're not paying for this breakfast. This breakfast is free, so don't think that you're going to get a massive meal. In fair play, the meals come lunchtime, they're very good, they're good size and you get a lot. So yeah, let's run through day 2 again. So day 2, we get up, we get showered and we brush our teeth, we fix the bed, we put on the bibs. Remember, you always have to have your bibs on. The orange bib first, then your red bib. After that, we went to breakfast. Then we were marched over to the conference room. Now, when we went back to the conference room, we were basically split into 2 parts. That's because some of the people that is going into the British Army, they're going into technical jobs. For example, fixing electronics on the Apache helicopters. So therefore, they need to do extra tests. So these people who are going into technical roles, they will be split down and they will go in to do some computer tests. The rest of us who are left, we will be doing our paperwork, where we'll be producing our passports, we will be producing our, proof of address, like bank statements, credit card statements, utility bills, stuff like that. And then once the other groups finish, they'll come back and they'll start the passports, the utility bills, and then we'll go do the computer tests and all that. Now, once all that's done, which is, I believe it's called the employment checks, pre-employment checks. Once all that's done, then it's time for the medical. Now, the medical, guys, before I go on to the medical, let me just tell you this. When I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, okay, I can tell you, the only thing I had focused my mind on was smashing my record on a 1.5 mile run, okay? Remember, I have been training on my 1.5 mile runs, and I got my 1.5 mile run down to 10 minutes 45. So on this day, I wanted to smash that record. I'm telling you, I wanted to get down to at least 10:30. Okay, so I wanted to shave 15 seconds off that time. Okay, now this is the thing what I'm saying about the medical. The medical can make you or it can break you. So let's move on to the medical. Now, when we went over to have a medical done, then we basically had 3 things that was done, okay? So, sorry, 4 things. We had our eye test done. Now, in my case, my eyes, my right eye can't see as far as my left eye. So my left eye sees further. But what I noticed is if I put this little thing on with loads of holes and apertures in, my eye can see just as far as this eye. My right eye can see just as far as this eye. So if I did have a certain aid, then my right eye could see as far as my left eye, and I didn't know that. So the eye test went good. I believed I passed. Then we went on to a hearing test. Now the hearing test is basically you're put in a little tiny booth and you're closed in this booth, earphones are put on you, and you've got this little clicker in your hand, and every time you hear a beep, an audio beep, you've got to press the button. Now these beeps will go beep, long pause, beep, and then you press it. So these long presses, you know, you can be sat and you can't, they hear it. And it's just a long pause. As a matter of fact, guys, during that audio hearing test, I could actually hear other people talking in the next room. It was so weird. But again, I passed my hearing test. Then we went on to do a lung test. Now, I forget what this test is done, but basically, I think it's to check for asthma. And you basically put it on, you go, and you blow as fast as you can. Now, I got the maximum on that test. So my eyesight, my lungs, in addition to my hearing, everything was good. Now from then you go on to meet a doctor, and then the doctor gives you a medical. Now basically we all sat in the reception, and you know, I was taking that long that they actually said, you know, 37, follow me, we're going to quickly whack you on your tests, you know, some computer tests whilst you wait for the doctor. So I done that. Once I'd done my computer tests, then you take off the red bib. So once you complete all your computer tests, you take off the red bib, okay? So the red bib's gone. Now I'm in an orange bib. So then I'm told to go back to the medical wing in order to meet the doctor. So go back, and then eventually the doctor, you know, calls me in. Now the weird thing is, I had not seen this doctor all day. I'd seen the other doctors, but I've never seen this doctor all day. The nurses, they were awesome. I loved the nurses. I absolutely loved the nurses, guys. But this doctor here, seeing as I came in, as soon as I sat down, you know, I thought, hang on, something doesn't feel right here. You know what I mean, guys? You know when you get that feeling where something just does not feel right. Well, that's what I had got as soon as I met this doctor. Now, it turned out that this doctor had only been there for 3 weeks, okay? But anyway, remember guys, from 5:30 in the morning, the only thing I wanted to do that day was smash my 1.5 mile run. That's all I cared about, was smashing that 1.5 mile run and getting it down to 10 minutes 30 seconds. Now, during my medical, I'm not going to go into detail about this. I'm just going to basically say that I have been deferred. Okay, so deferred means that I was blocked from moving forward with my army application until matters are resolved. So basically, let me just quickly move on about this whole doctor thing. So I noticed that the doctor had taken a few notes about me, and these notes had been written, you know, on the front of the paper. And I'm like thinking, what's the deal with these notes? Then the doctor's telling me that I've got high blood pressure, and I'm thinking, well, this is kind of strange because last year I'd broken my leg, I was in the hospital, I never had high blood pressure, and you know, stuff like this, and I'm thinking something doesn't feel right here. So anyway, I spoke to some of the nurses who then got the head doctor. The head doctor came see me. The head doctor said, Gareth, I apologise about this. This doctor's only been with us for 3 weeks. She called him in, made him change some information on his sheet. And basically, they said, Gareth, look, your blood pressure, he's done it 3 times, you've got high blood pressure. Thinking about it now, guys, I remember when I was doing my computer test, and you're going to probably expect this as well. When you do the computer test, the computer crashes on you. So I got up to 83% complete and the computer crashed and it asked me to start again from like 60%. And I'm like, so that kind of thing, thinking about now, that kind of stuff could get your blood pressure going. You get me? You filled something out, you're coming up to 83%, the computer crashes, you've wasted 20 minutes of time, now you've got to go back and do the whole thing again. That alone, to me, think about now, could raise your blood pressure. But anyway, going back to the blood pressure thing, I'm saying like to the head doctor and to the nurses and all, look, I've got to accept it. Last year, I broken my leg. Many years before that, I broke my shoulder, you know, my elbow, blah, blah, blah. The medical profession has helped heal me, stuff like that. So I can't, you know, argue with the medical profession. So what happens from here? Well, I've been deferred, which means that I couldn't progress forward that day. And instead, I have been given a 12-week training program. Now, this 12-week training program, I've got to do by myself. I've got to fill it out. And then at the end of the 12 weeks, I will send it back to Lichfield Barracks. They will examine it. If they deem everything is okay, and I've also got to go to my doctors, my own GP, which I have done. I will be monitored 24 hours for my blood pressure to see if it is normal. Also, guys, I went on Amazon and I also bought my own blood pressure monitoring kit because, you know, I didn't trust that doctor. You know what I mean? That doctor who had from medical, I didn't trust him. Okay? So I'm gonna buy my own blood pressure machine, which I have, and waiting for it to be delivered. When it's delivered, I will also be taking my own blood pressure readings to make sure that what they tell me, what my GP tells me, everything matches up. Because if somebody's telling porkies, you know what I mean, then there we go. It's called integrity. And the British Army is very, very proud of having integrity within its personnel. So anyway, right. So I was deferred. So what does that mean? That means that I was not allowed to do my cherry can lift, my power bike lift, and I could not do my 1.5 mile run. So basically, at my medical, everything stopped. Everything stopped. Now, I'm telling you guys, you need to work this one out. If you're going to the British Army and you're going to your assessment centre, you're going to selection, and if you think, oh, I'm not going to fail my medical, guys, that's the wrong attitude to have. Because I'm telling you now, if you fail your medical, or in my case, you have been deferred from your medical, that means everybody's looking at you to see if you're going to cry. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know some people was crying that day. People who had failed the medical, people who had deferred, they were crying. Personally, I wasn't crying. I was not crying one bit. I just felt like, hang on, you know, there's something not right with that doctor. I don't know what it is, but I didn't like that doctor. So that was what was in my head. You get me? And then the other part of my head was thinking, well, hang on, show everybody around you how you deal with stress. This is how I deal with stress. I don't get angry. I don't get upset. I just keep a cool, level-headed head about me, and I think rationally. That's the only thing what I can do. So I know you had the training plan. I know it's up to me to prove to, you know, the British Army that I have got what it takes to be a soldier. Right? Let me tell you this now, guys. Since I've got back, actually no, let me just continue, right? We'll get back to that in a minute. So basically, after my medical, there was a major that was stood there, and a woman was saying that basically that this major wanted to talk to me and another guy who had just came out of the medical, you know, and probably deferred or failed or something like that. And the other guy wasn't about, so I said to the major, look, I'm happy for you to come along and speak to me if you want. So we went into his office. I sat down. I said, look, I understand, you know, this happens. I'm more than happy to go away with my training notes. I'll fill them out. I will come back, you know, in 12 weeks. I will hand that in if you guys are happy. In addition to me passing my blood pressure test, then, you know, I'm happy to, like, forget about today, go home, do all that, come back, and we'll continue it in 3 months' time. The major was happy. He said okay, took me back in, and that was when I found out that the other guy had actually gone home. So the guy we were waiting for in the medical room, he had actually gone home. So I was then asked, you know, what was it I wanted to do? Did I want to A, wait for the minibus to come back, get on the minibus and go home? Did I B, want to order my own taxi, get my taxi to the train station, pay for it out of my own money, and then go home? Or C, did I want to stay the night? I said I wanted to stay the night. You know me, guys. I love the British Army. They've been my heroes since I've ever been a little boy. And yeah, I chose to stay the night. So I ended up staying the night. I was told, right, you will not be taking any part in physical activities. You will literally just be standing on the sideline, watching everybody else and tagging along with them. So once I got back to the accommodation, I believe it was the... No, was it the accommodation? Anyway, but basically, yeah, it was the accommodation. When I got back to the accommodation, I seen all the boys, all the lads who sat there, and they were like, you're back. We thought you'd gone home. And I'm like turning around going, guys, oh, what a story. And I started telling everybody this story. Now, we had a good joke and a banter, but because it's medical related, we're not going to go into that, because in hindsight, it is private and confidential. But yeah, it was good seeing the lads. The lads were even turned around and saying, look, we were rooting for you. We really wanted you to get you to the next stage. So after that, after the reunion with the lads, we all went out, lined up, and everybody else was looking and said, he's still here. And they thought that I had actually gone the bus and gone home, when that had not been the case, you know. Really, really strange, guys. I really know, it's really strange. But the more I think about it now, that day had to unfold like that, because everything about that day just feels so right to me. You know what I mean? Because I got to... So what happened from there? From there, the staff, okay? The sergeants, the staff, the majors. I got to speak to these guys on a higher level, on a more personal level. You know what I mean? Because of this bad thing that happened, it now seen me talking to the sergeants and the staff and the major on a more personal level. Not only that, but I'd won a newfound respect for the lads in my accommodation, because they were clearly saying, hey, we were supporting you. We really wanted you to make it all the way through. So there we go. The lads had my back. You get me? So everything, I'm like, it's had to unfold like this. So what happened from then was we ended up going over, we had lunch, okay, because it's been a long day, been a real long day by now. So we all went over and we had a good lunch in the cookhouse, and basically we all went back to the dormitory or accommodation block, and then we just had a long talk for a few hours, because guys, this is the last day, isn't it? So you know that 10 o'clock lights off rule? Well, you can have an extra half an hour on your very last day. So if they say switch the lights off 10 o'clock, you can actually switch them off at 10:30 because it's your last day. Because the next day is the day where you're going to go and you're going to have an interview to see if you get the job it is that you want. Now, the next morning, so the third morning, I got up. I was leaving straight away, guys. Everybody else was going on to do their, grenade throw and stuff like that, then go get showered, get dressed up and go have their interview. Whereas me, because I had been deferred for 3 months, I couldn't do that, and instead I had to just basically go wait in reception, wait until the time when my train was due, and then I would go to the train station. Right, guys, before we finish this video, you need to understand this, because this is a story and a half. So I wanted to smash my 1.5 mile run, didn't I? Okay, so 1.5 miles, I was doing it in 10 minutes 45. So the only thing I wanted to do at selection was smash that time. Now, here's the story. You have one train station here called Lichfield City. You have one train station here called Lichfield Trent Valley. Okay? I was dropped off at Lichfield City for my train with 15 minutes to go to get my train. Guys, guess what? I was at the wrong station. I should not have been at this station. I should have been at this station, and the guy told me I had to run his exact words was, if you go out, turn right, about a mile and a half down the road is the train station you need to be at. It actually turned out in the end it was 1.3 miles. But guys, I had to run 1.3 miles to that train station in under 15 minutes with all my kit on my back with the totally wrong footwear. And I done it. Okay, I had done it. So the good news is I did get to do my run at the end of all this stuff. But yeah, guys, so what have I done since I have been back in Manchester? Well, what I've done is I started training straight away. I got back on a Sunday. On the Sunday, was it Sunday? Yeah. Okay, but basically on the Monday, I went for a 4.2 mile run, which was 40 minutes. On the Tuesday, I went for a 27 mile cycle around the Peak District, up hills, down hills, blah, blah, blah. On the Wednesday, I done press-ups, sit-ups, all the exercises can be found in the British Army app. And then on the Thursday, I had a day off. And then on the Friday, I forget what I'd done on the Friday, but on the Saturday, I went for a 23 mile hike with 14 kilograms on my back. And I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but I am totally bruised all over my shoulders from carrying that rucksack. Now, a guy on the way, he said to me, because I told him a story about me applying for the British Army and being deferred, and he said to me, "Oh, are you carrying bricks in your bag?" And I actually replied to him, "Actually, mate, I'm carrying these. These are called lead acid batteries, and I was carrying 3 of these in my bag. These things are bloody heavy. They are heavy." And I took my bag off and I let him feel it. And he was turning around to his girlfriend or his wife. He's going, "Kirsty, here, I feel the weight of that. He's got to carry it. He's got to do his own training, for 12 weeks and blah." And it's like, oh, guys, right, guys, let's just wrap up this video because it's been going on forever now, hasn't it? So, what to expect at selection? Small breakfasts, okay? Being shouted at for the most. You're just being shouted at, okay? You're not going to win. Someone somewhere is going to be shouted at, okay? So expect to be shouted at. Your medical. Guys, if you feel your medical, you're going to have to handle your emotions. How are you going to deal with emotions if you feel are deferred from your medical. Remember, when I came out and I found I'd been deferred, I was seeing people being given green passes, which I never celebrated. Oh, green pass, I'm on the next level, yay, I passed. You've got to sit there and watch all this happiness, even though you're in sorrow and you may be upset. You've got, in my case, I was happy for these people. I wasn't angry. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't upset. So you've got to really understand that your medical is something that can really pop your balloon. And you need to work out how you're going to deal with that. So the next thing to expect is girls. Girls, right. Girls. Yet it's a time and place called the recreation room, where you can spend your time and try talking up the girls. Don't be trying to talk up girls in front of staff and the sergeant and stuff like that. Because remember, you're never going to see these girls again. Okay? So don't jeopardize your entire work life for the sake of girls. Okay? Now, the next thing I would say is probably going back to the medical is when you fill out your medical form, it will ask you if you would like to take someone into the room with you. Guys, I felt like something wasn't right with the doctor I had. So I'd advise you to tick that box and say you want someone else to go in to the room with you whilst the doctor carries out the medical. Because again, I didn't trust my doctor and I really wished that I took someone into the room with me, and I think things may have been less complicated. So another thing is, thank you guys, thank you for watching the video. That's it. So yeah, I was deferred. I submit my training manual, my training diary in 12 weeks time, 3 months. If my blood pressures are okay, they will invite me back to the British Army, and then from there I should be enlisted into the British Army. If not, then I bloody tried. Okay, and that's what it's about. It's about trying your hardest. But I can tell you now, guys, I can tell you now, my body is physically fit. I am the healthiest in my life that I have ever been. So again, just thank you for watching the video. Catch you all later, guys.